Hello, everybody. Jonathan Pulley here with West Coast Weather. Today is November 25th, and we're going to talk about the nice dry weather that we're having on this Thanksgiving weekend. It's actually really uncommon for us to get a full dry weekend after Thanksgiving. It's only happened about 3 times in the last 50 years at Seattle. So pretty uncommon, but we are going to have that, and this dry weather is going to continue through next week. But by Thursday/Friday of next week, it looks like storm systems are going to start moving back into the area from the Pacific Ocean. That'll bring back breezy winds and rain likely, but there's still plenty of time to talk at that, but we'll look at that. Sorry for no webcam on this video because I am setting up a new computer and still haven't gone to the webcam situation yet. So hopefully I'll have that back up and running next week. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now we're looking at the ridge and trough positions. Here's Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California. You can see the big ridge that's kind of set up shop north of the Pacific Northwest, but this is kind of bringing dry weather to most of the West Coast. As we play this through, it continues through the weekend. Then you can see this little trough, a cutoff low, kind of moving towards California by Monday. This is going to bring probably some shower activity to some of the coastline, maybe bring some light rain. Not going to be too impactful. But then as we go into Thursday, you can see the trough start moving down into the coastline. There's some disagreement on how far south these initial troughs are going to go. But you can see the general storminess that the European model is showing. And these troughs kind of continue through the next week after that as well. So a lot going on there. Now let's look at the GFS and see what it's got. The ridge over the weekend and into early next week. Troughing kind of goes over the California, still leaving much of the Pacific Northwest and a lot of the West Coast right, except some coastal and maybe some inland locations of California on Monday and Tuesday. That trough kind of hangs out. This next trough is a little farther north on the GFS. And you can see that would bring more impactful weather to parts of the Pacific Northwest. And then another trough right after that. And then just continued systems and maybe a ridge drying out California, but still keeping some precipitation going for parts of the Pacific Northwest. And that kind of just continues through the coming weeks as well. And just continues. So yeah, lots of active weather potentially starting late next week. Now let's look at when we can start expecting some of this precipitation to start. This is 24-hour precipitation totals. You can see that weak system off the California coast Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This is going to bring some light rain and showers to parts of the California coastline, but the European model keeps it just hugging the coast. There is a slight chance for some precipitation towards part of the inland areas of California, but not looking too likely. Then you can see by Thursday morning/afternoon, the precipitation starts moving into Washington, Oregon, and Northwest California. That's the first weaker system, maybe bring some light rain down to California as well. And then more systems come in later next week and into the following week. So lots of this. And look at this powerful atmospheric river that the European model had this morning. So yeah, there's some pretty fun solutions showing up in the models. Now let's look at total cloud cover. You can see as of this afternoon, basically everywhere except maybe a few select locations are completely cloudless. Beautiful sunshine out there for late November. Maybe some high clouds and maybe some fog tomorrow morning and evening, but really just clear over much of the West Coast. Maybe some light clouds moving over parts of northern Washington, some weak systems moving to British Columbia and other parts of Canada. And then this dry weather kind of continues with possible fog each morning. So be careful if you're out there driving on the morning commute. You can see the low pressure system starting to move towards California on Tuesday. That'll bring some clouds and some precipitation to parts of the coastline's interior. Then you can see the storm system starting to move over the area with all this cloud cover moving over. So yeah, there's that. And here's the National Weather Model's daily max 2-meter temperatures. So you can see the high temperatures on Sunday. You can see highs in only the mid to upper 40s possible for Western Washington. So this ridge of high pressure is going to bring in nice weather, but it's also going to be pretty chilly. And you can see below the maybe middle 60s for parts of Central California and like parts of the coastline, maybe up towards 70 for Los Angeles. As we go through Monday and Tuesday, you can see the kind of the same temperature staying in the 40s, and maybe it looks like it's going to be staying in the middle to upper 30s for much of eastern Washington and eastern Oregon, and continued a bit warmish down in Southern California where it's to be expected. Then you can see the warm-ish Pacific system starting to move in later into the period, maybe bumping those temperatures up maybe a few degrees. Now let's look at the minimum temperatures for the day. This is for Sunday. The low temperatures for Seattle down near freezing. There's been plenty of frost over these areas. You can see some freezing temperatures approaching parts of Central California as well. So some freeze warnings are up for down there. Maybe 27 for parts of southwestern Washington. Maybe middle to upper 20s for parts of the Willamette Valley. In the teens for parts of eastern Oregon and Washington. So very chilly air. And then you can see the continued possible freezes each night through the middle of next week. But then you can see the Pacific system starting to move in. You can see the high at low temperatures are now towards the middle, the upper 30s now for parts of the Willamette Valley and the coast, but still pretty chilly temperatures out east, which is kind of to be expected this time of the year. The cold air kind of gets banked up the Cascades so that the western portions are warmer than the eastern portions. Now, this is the European ensemble for Seattle. This is showing all 50 ensemble members and what they're saying for precipitation. You can see basically every single model with varying amounts of rain shows at least some rainfall starting later next weekend. You can see the mean is up towards 3 inches by the weekend after next. So this is all kind of fancy, but this is kind of just showing that we're going to be returning back to the more active weather. Here's the 50 ensemble members for Seattle as well. You can see some of these breezy conditions possible with some of these frontal systems starting late next week, even some 50s and 160 mile per hour thing. But this is all just fantasy. We'll continue to look at this as we go closer to this event. And then this is down near San Francisco International Airport. You can see that system moving through around the Thursday time frame. The system's going to be moving in about Wednesday time frame, but the precipitation may start a bit later. And you can see maybe some quarter of an inch of rain possible for some of those coastal locations, maybe getting up towards a half an inch. And this is the wind gust speeds for San Francisco International Airport as well. You can see maybe some breezy conditions in the 20s and 30s for parts of the coastline as well with that system. Here's a nice graphic by the National Weather Service of Spokane, Washington. They're showing the dry weather week up ahead. Patchy morning fog, stable weather conditions, persistent inversions. That just means that the air temperature is going to be getting warmer with height. So it's an inversion of what we usually get, in light winds, which is perfect for fog formation. And there's also a moderate sneaker wave risk along parts of the Oregon and California coastlines as some unusually high swell and astronomical high tides. And so there will be unusually high run up expected Friday evening through Saturday evening. So just be careful on those beaches and shorelines down there. And here's a nice graphic by the National Weather Service of Medford, Oregon, talking about the frost and freeze incoming for a lot of the western and eastern portions. This is for Coos County and coastal Douglas County overnight into early Saturday, and again Saturday night into early Sunday morning. This may continue even beyond that as well. Frost along the immediate coast with lows in the low to middle 30s. Sub-freezing temperatures down to 30 in inland Coos County. Frost follows in both areas early Sunday. And make sure to take steps now to protect tender plants from the cold. And here's a graphic by the National Weather Service, Sacramento, California, showing the freeze warnings. This is from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. Sunday, November 26th, and also another freeze warning up for 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday, November 27th. So temperatures as low to 28 degrees to 35 degrees in the valleys. Mountains in the teens and 20s, coldest on Sunday and Monday, but possible freezes maybe Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Freezing temperatures can damage or kill plants that are sensitive to the cold. Cold overnight temperatures can impact unhoused populations, the elderly, and pets. So just make sure that stay aware of that. And there's also hazardous beach conditions expected late Friday into Sunday for parts of the much of the California coastline. Increased risk for sneaker waves and rip currents. High astronomical tides may increase the risk of sneaker waves by bringing more run up on the beach. This is for coastal Sonoma County down to Monterey County. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And especially for northwest facing beaches when 10 p.m. Friday to 8 a.m. Sunday. Dangerous conditions for inexperienced surfers and swimmers. Unexpected waves may sweep people into the sea from rocks, jetties, and beaches. Never turn your back on the ocean. So some good words there. So now let's look at the climate prediction center. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is for December 1st to December 5th. And you can see near normal to below normal temperatures for much of the West Coast and some parts of the Southwest. So nothing really to write home about there. But here you go. This is for December 1st to December 5th as well. You can see the clear signal for the system starting to move back into the West Coast and Pacific Northwest. This would also include British Columbia as well. But you can see that there's plenty of systems that are going to start moving through in the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. And here's the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. You can see above average temperatures as the specific systems bring that moist and relatively warm southwest flow over the area. So that'll increase temperatures and bring them above average for the December 3rd, the 9th time frame. There's still plenty of time to look at this, but the chances for Pacific systems coming as increasing drastically. Here's the precipitation outlook as well. Above average precipitation, maybe below average precipitation for parts of Southern California, as we saw in some malls sprung a ridge late, but continuing the precipitation over the Pacific Northwest. So there's a lot to look at in the coming week or two. So we'll just continue to look at this. Well, that's it for this year. I hope everybody found this informative and enjoyable. I will get that webcam up and running over this next week. Hopefully I will have even clearer resolution than before. If you enjoyed this video and all the other videos I do, please just hit that like button, subscribe button down below, and also hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss out on any new videos I make. But dry weather continuing through much of next week, but some showers possible over California, especially the coastlines, and then Pacific systems start moving back in probably Thursday in the Friday of next week and continuing through next weekend. So we'll continue to watch that. Take care, God bless, and have a wonderful weekend and next week.